At first glance, you could mistake the HTC Wildfire for the HTC Desire, but if you look a bit closer or just put them together, you'll notice it's shorter, thicker, it's not as sturdy either, which you obviously can't see, and there are no hard keys, apart from the optical trackpad down at the bottom. Now, the touch-sensitive keys are responsive enough, but I definitely prefer having the hard keys of the Desire. So clearly, the Wildfire is intent on bringing you Android 2.1, but without those high-end features that make the Desire so costly. And like the Desire and the Legend, it's loaded with HTC Sense, one of the best skins available for Android. So it's got the 7 home screens, which you can customize with widgets and applications, and there's the range of familiar apps like the Social Network Hub for aggregated feeds, otherwise known as FriendStream. In fact, the Wildfire is a little social network obsessed, integrating Facebook into everything from the calendar to caller ID. And like the Desire, this extends to contacts. Now, there's also the Leap View feature for a thumbnail view of all your 7 home pages, which you simply pull up with a pinch or by hitting the home button. And it's also got the HTC Sense QWERTY keyboard, one of the best touchscreen keyboards out there. And as you've probably noticed, it doesn't share the Desire's quality high-res screen, which is a bit of a shame, but at least it's still capacitive. And it's LED as opposed to AMOLED, and at 240 by 320 pixels, the Wildfire's low screen res means blocky icons and badly rendered zoomed out web pages. So it's certainly not as sharp and definitely not as responsive, and I felt I had to apply a lot more extra pressure on the screen, especially when scrolling, and it was particularly sluggish at times. Now, of course, I really wasn't expecting the kind of speeds found on the Desire, but I did experience some juddering when switching between applications and windows. But it does share the Desire's easy-to-use user interface, and a rather nice Wildfire addition is the sharing system put in place to share application links with your mates rather than having them search the marketplace themselves. Now, the HTC Wildfire also comes with a WebKit browser on board, and generally the web browsing experience was pretty good. Loading speeds are fairly nippy, although sometimes images would take a few seconds longer than we'd like, and Flash content takes longer to load. So it's stifled a bit by sluggishness at times, but overall is decent enough, and the multi-touch works well, and at least it displays Flash, so you won't be restricted to a specific YouTube app, for example, although it's worth noting that Flash doesn't work on every website. So it's definitely not as speedy, and that goes for the phone in general, but that is to be expected considering the 1 GHz processor found in the Desire has been swapped for the 528 MHz processor found in the Hero. Now, you'll also find a 5 megapixel camera with LED flash. There's no camera button though, so you'll have to make do with using the trackball. Now, the screen quality can make photos appear low res and pixelated, but the raw files will show off their true quality. And there's a few useful features too, like geotagging and photo effects. So it's decent, it's affordable, and it's a great little smartphone for those of you on a tight budget. In fact, it's quite the bargain when you consider the amount of features it's packing, including the Sense UI. Now, the screen is a little too low res for our liking, and it's certainly not as pretty to look at as the Desire or the Legend. But if this kind of thing doesn't bother you, or the Desire and the Legend are just out of your price range, this little smartphone will do the trick nicely.